Welcome all to the compliance shots powered by Lex Comply. Today we have CA Dr. Atul Gupta Ji. Uh, CA Atul Gupta Ji is a very known personality and is a GST expert, indirect tax expert, and had been advising a lot of corporates for more than 20 years now. Today we will take his guidance and input on very important subject which is happening today. A lot of in the news हम लोग बहुत सुन रहे हैं आजकल जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट हम सबको पता है काफी एक्टिव है और काफी नोटिसेस भी इशू हो रहे हैं कंपनीज को। तो आजकल एक लेटेस्ट है कि एक 3000 करोड़ का अमाउंट का कुछ नोटिसेस की न्यूज आ रही है अतुल सर फॉर फ्रेंचाइजीज के लिए, कंपनीज के लिए जो ट्रेडमार्क्स यूज हो रहे हैं, कंपनीज के लोगोज यूज कर रहे हैं। सो आपका उस पे सर इनपुट चाहेंगे, हाउ इंडस्ट्री शुड लुक एट इट एंड व्हाट इज योर व्यू ऑन दिस सर?
Thank you, Gaurav ji. Gaurav ji, you have rightly raised the concern that these days specific notices are being issued for this trademark versus the franchisee. I'm not saying that the notice is right or wrong, because that will depend on the facts of each of the case. But just to share with you what exactly the law is and how we should interpret the law is something that it is my opinion, personal opinion. Again, it will be subject to on a case-to-case basis. Now, when we discuss all these issues, when there are the franchisee or the trademark issue which we are all discussing about, there are the two limbs of this discussion. One is a franchisee. So there was in the service tax regime also, there was a specific service called franchisee services, wherein the geographical representation rights, if is being given to somebody for a fee, then that was falling under the definition of a franchisee services. So now, first of all, we need to understand that whether this activity at all is a franchisee or not. Now, Gauravji, just to explain you, for example, I am taking a retail outlet of a particular paint, say for example, and I am selling any paint. I don't want to take a name of a company X or Y, but if I am taking the agency of a X or Y, and I am a reseller of that particular company, in that case, that is not a franchisee at all. It has been upheld in the many judgments that it's not a franchisee. I'm in a relation of a principal to principal. I am not a principal to agent relationship. And whenever there is no principal to agent relationship is not there, in that case, it is not a franchisee. So I'm a wholesaler or a retailer, as the case may be. I'm buying and selling. Certainly, there will be some brand associated with that particular paint or any other activity, even for a food or a restaurant. Then it's purely a principal to principal. In that case, there is no franchisee. It's a principal to principal sale purchase relationship. And in that case, whatever the purchase and sale will be there, that will be subject to the GST, or in the earlier regime, it was service tax or the VAT, as the case may be. So that's not a franchisee at all. And meaning thereby, there is no franchisee as such. Applicability of the franchisee is not there. The second model is that I am paying a franchisee fee. So I am becoming maybe kind of a service center for a particular company, wherein I am taking a representational right that, okay, this will be a franchisee for a Gurgaon or a Faridabad or a Punjab or anywhere else is there. And I am paying a franchisee fees. In that case, it is a clear case that it will fall under the definition of a supply in the GST regime, and on that franchisee fees, one has to charge and pay the GST. Whether the next person will get the credit or not hardly makes any difference. Yes, I am aware about specifically in the case of a restaurant that if you are falling under that particular, so there is a very thin difference between a franchisee or a branded store. So if I'm taking a branded store, I'm running a branded store. That doesn't mean a franchisee specifically. So you have to read the agreement in between the lines, that whether it is a franchisee agreement or not. But if it is a franchisee, in that case, it will be a supply, and hardly makes any difference that whether you will get the credit or not, because in the restaurant business, you are not getting any credit per se, because you are falling into the 5% category, in meaning thereby you will not be able to get any credit. Now coming to the another aspect of this discussion, that is trademark. I just wish to clarify you, Gaurav bhai, that there is a two type of agreement. One, when the two distinct entities are dealing with. Say for example, myself is a brand owner and I'm giving a franchisee to you, and we are the two separate legal entities. In that case, it will be an issue of a franchisee or not a franchisee. But in case within the same PAN number, I have the two stores. So I have
Mm.
one store in Delhi and another store in Haryana, Gurgaon. So
Mm.
whether the notional value for a using of the trademark will attract the GST or not is something that is also being raised and discussed at the different platform. So that is something I am worried about, because what will
Yes.
happen that if we will try to create that kind of a notional figure as a franchisee services or a use of trademark, and then you have to charge a notional value on that particular aspect, in that case it will be very difficult for everybody to sustain the things in that manner. Now we are aware about a similar kind of arrangement which is there in the corporate guarantee, that in case there is a
Mm.
corporate guarantee be given by one person to another person, that will be subject to GST. That has been recently clarified. But at the same time, they have mentioned that if within the organization the corporate guarantee is being given, so if the branch A is giving the corporate guarantee to branch B, in that case it is not a taxable supply. If
Yes.
there are two separate legal entities are there, maybe a system concern, and the holding company is giving the corporate guarantee to the subsidiary, in that case only, because they are the two separate legal entities, in that case a value of 1% is being defined as a value for the purpose of the corporate guarantee. But as far as the trademark is concerned, when it is between the two branches, which is being called as a distinct person, so in that case if we are trying to create a notional value of on between the distinct person, that the branch A is charging the giving a trademark to the branch B, in that case it will be a very difficult proposition to handle,
Opposite.
because that is not a two separate legal entity, it's not a franchisee agreement. You are simply saying that the head office is based in Delhi and giving the opening the branch in the 20 different states, and you are saying that no, you are using a trademark, so you have to create a value, and then on that the GST is applicable. So number one, it's not a supply to anybody else, it's a distinct person. That okay, though it is a distinct person, but it is the one organization which is running
Right.
the 20 stores. So that
Correct.
will be there in the any of the business. So creating a notional value on that and charging the GST, I believe should be should go to a level like a the highest level of a litigation, because that is not I believe that the intention of the law. And number two, just to share with you that there is no valuation provisions available. So
Yes,
in case
absolutely.
I will say that the trademark has a value, the notional value. So what will be the value? Because the valuation principle has to give that what value I have to take. Number one.
Right.
So
Right.
you have to say, because in the corporate guarantee you defined 1% of the loan amount will be the corporate guarantee value for the corporate guarantee. But what will be the value in case of the trademark? So there is no valuation provision. So in the absence of the valuation provision, how you will be able to define that okay, this is taxable value and this much will be the taxable value. So this much will be the taxable value is nowhere there. So
Right.
that's the point which I wish to. Number three, that I believe that when we are looking for the GST, that is a goods and simple tax, there is a seamless flow of credit which we are preaching, and we are promoting that everywhere. So in case of a restaurant business specifically, I just wish to clarify that since the credit is not available to the restaurant's owner,
Mm.
and I will create a notional value on the trademark, I will charge the GST on that. Certainly there will be a sunk cost, because the
Yes.
ultimate branch will not be able to get the credit, because they are falling under the 5% category with a condition that you are not eligible to claim the any credit of any input services with whatever inputs which is there as far as the restaurant business is concerned. So that will actually add the cost to the entire ecosystem. That is a different worry, though that may not replace the legal chronology, that if something is taxable, so you can't say that okay, because it will increase my cost, so you have to give the immunity from the taxation system. But as far as the practical business point of view also, I believe it's not a workable proposition. But at the same time, on a legal side also, I will say that neither there is a there are two separate legal entities are there. You can't say like this. And number two, that there is no valuation provisions available as far as the trademark is concerned between the two distinct person. As far as the two separate legal entities are concerned, certainly whether you are using a brand name or you are saying it's a franchisee, if there is an agreement which specifically clarifies that this is a use of the trademark or use of the franchisee activity for which something is being charged, in that case, that may fall under the franchisee services and will attract, will be a supply and will attract the GST, in my opinion. But again, as I mentioned you, that it will depend. So there are many judgments which are there in the service tax regime, which are equally applicable for the GST. I believe that the readers or the viewers and the guys who are handling the litigation should read those judgments, which give a very fine difference between a franchisee or not a franchisee. Even I contested many judgments on that front, and I believe that we successfully able to differentiate or distinguish that what is franchisee and what is not a franchisee. So this is all from my side on this particular aspect.
Thank you, Atul sir. I think you made some very, very important points. One is जब हम franchisee के बारे में बात करते हैं, it is very, very important to read the essence of the agreement, not the title. The title may be dealer or whatever, but it is important what is the term of the agreement. If that by the term of the agreement you are a franchisee, then you are a franchisee. Even if you are termed as franchisee, but as per the terms of the agreement, you are actually not a franchisee, but some other category or a principal to principal, then you have to follow that route. Secondly, I think very pertinent point is regarding the trademark, because trademark is something, if this practice gets set up, because trademarks are basically a means of representing an organization, right? Whatever name you use, it is a basically a brand by which you represent, okay, I'm selling this company, I'm selling this company. And across, when we move into the market, you can only see brands. So if this proposition gets accepted beyond a point, then they may be also charging the local retailers who are using a brand by virtue of those signboards and everything. And another thing which came to my mind, can this be also extended by our counterpart foreign companies who are having the trademarks, owning a trademarks and their subsidiaries operating in India then? That tax authorities can also extend, for example. So I think there has to be a fine balance. What I'm trying to make, there has to fine balance between the revenue and ease of doing business. Thank you, Atulji. I think we'll take a sign off with this and we look forward to interact you more on these glaring issues. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Namaste.